Okay, we are live.
Okay, great.
Okay,
Good
thank
evening,
you. Good
everybody.
evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome everybody to our December meeting. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I'd like to make a motion to move the minutes of the Board of Education meeting.
Motion.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Okay, I'd like
Aye.
to make a motion to approve the treasurer's report of October 2020.
Motion.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Second.
Aye.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve the claims audit report of October 2020.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and I'd like to make a motion to move the statement of paid claims from November 2020 and then November, December 2020.
Motion.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. That brings us to the always exciting capital project report. Jim, I'll turn it over to you.
Good evening. This is my report for December of 2020. The district and the architect had a meeting to discuss flooding in the lakeside driveway after a heavy rainfall. The site contractor cleaned the original catch basins, but to no avail. The architect site engineer took elevations of Lakeside's new work and found that several elevations do not conform to the construction documents, resulting in water not funneling to the correct areas. This information has been given to the contractor for his review and feedback. At Lakeside, a second estimate for a walk across the center island to Lakeside's main entrance has been received. A third estimate will now be sought. With colder weather, I check daily the building management system, which controls the heating and air conditioning for proper operation of the classroom unit ventilators and split air conditioning units, and reports or concerns and issues to the contractor. The contractor does respond. Arrow Window has provided an update on the arrival of the windows. For the Lakeside Gymnasium, which is the replacement of the non-operating fixed windows with operating windows, the end of February. The Chatterton Emergency Escape casement windows, the end of January. Replacement windows for administration, the end of February. Arrow again mentioned that additional delays could occur due to the COVID. At Birch and Lakeside, the health offices have been redesigned to include quarantine rooms. The nurses have reviewed and approved the updated designs. The classroom casework for Birch and Lakeside is being put on the manufacturer's schedule to be made. The goal is to have the casework on site at the end of June so renovations can be completed in a timely manner. Bid for contractors to do the classroom and interior renovations should occur early next year so the contractors can schedule the renovations as soon as school is on summer break. And that concludes my report, and happy holiday to everybody.
Thank you, Jim. Happy holiday to you, and thanks for all you're doing. And please thank the entire staff for all they're doing. We know it's been a busy time on a lot of levels. So thank you very much.
I shall, thank you.
Yep, that brings us to good and welfare. Congratulations to Robin Dutone, teaching assistant at Birch School, on the birth of her grandson, Chase Michael. Congratulations to Emily Williams, teaching assistant at Birch School, on her marriage to Connor O'Neill. Congratulations to Judy O'Neill, teaching assistant at Birch School, on the marriage of her son, Connor, to Emily Williams. Congratulations to Sharon Cohen, hall monitor at Lakeside School, on the birth of her grandchildren, Jamie Liam Cohen and Bridget Cohen. And congratulations to our very own Grandpa Yamali, Board of Education trustee, on the birth of his granddaughter, Sylvie Futterman. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Condolences to Melissa Edelman, teacher at Chatterton School, on the passing of her father-in-law, Dr. Al Edelman. And condolences to Jennifer DeGangi, teacher at Chatterton School, on the passing of her grandmother, Mary Deanna. That brings us to our hearing of visitors on items in the superintendent's report. I don't believe we had any. So that brings us to the superintendent's report. Don, do you want to talk about it first, or would you like us to move it first?
You can move it. There's really
Okay.
mostly administrative tasks.
Yes, okay. Motion to approve items 10A1 through 13. I'm going to move that alone. Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, just before we go to item B, I do want to welcome back our very own Sid Freifelder, who is helping us out as interim business official, Supreme Assistant Superintendent. And welcome home, Sid. Good to have you, and thanks very much. So motion to approve items B1 and 2, C1, D1, 2, and 3, E1, 2, 3, 4.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and I do just want to acknowledge a donation. Dom, unless you were going to do that, I
Oh, no,
probably.
Dad, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, but donation, we would like to thank the Michael Goodman family for donating the following items to the Birch Music Program: an acoustic guitar with a case, an electric guitar with a case, an amplifier, and 2 stands. Thank you very much.
And B2, which is the resolution for the testing company, I'll talk about in new business.
Okay, great, thank you. So that brings us to our second hearing of visitors, and I know we do have some people with us who would like to make a statement to the board.
Okay. Brandon, could you turn on Katerina Kralevich?
Welcome, Katerina. Nice to see you. It was good to speak with you.
Nice to see you and speak to you again.
Okay, so it's your time to address the board.
Well, when we spoke, you said you would speak on the community's behalf. And this is not our first attempt to get Birch's backyard cleaned up. We've spoken to, I spoke to Jim O'Byrne. My husband spoke to Dr. Palmer. And we just feel that the backyard, it's an ever expanding collection of garbage. It's on our front yard. And I feel that, and the community feels, that there has to be a better way to clean this up and to tidy up the area. There's a lot of housekeeping that has to be done. You know, we understand that there are 2 containers there that are housing and storing the desks for COVID. Totally understand that, but we don't understand why derelict buses are just, the minibuses are parked there. Snow plows are left out in July, August, and every other week it seems that there's another storage unit being placed there, and there has to be another place to store this. It's not just me, the community is really upset with how it looks. That's one issue. The parking now that, I don't know if the staff's been instructed to park along Dobson Avenue. I was told that they want to have the teachers and staff use a different door so COVID isn't spread through the handles, but it's really become unsafe also. the buses are coming and going, and it's a narrow street to begin with, and along two sides of Dobson, there are cars parked. I mean, fully to the end of the street, children can't walk. There is a crossing guard there, but I think he's now not even crossing students as much as directing the traffic there. But really what's bothering us is the way, we've been treated. It's just expanding too much. And I feel that there should be another area to store all of these things. The trailers, the storage units, the minivans that aren't in use, even staff parking on the lawn there and the grass there. It's really an affront to our community. And I think that Birch, the district, they can find another place to put all of these things. When you don't use something, you put it away. You just let it accumulate, and it's just like, oh, let's just throw it behind the shed, throw it over there. We look at it, it's our front yard, and that's it. That's basically, we want these things to be remedied and taken care of, and to us, have respect for our neighborhood. It's,
Yeah.
It's really not nice. It's like kind of a slap in the face. I worked at Chatterton. They're lucky to have their homes away from where their storage units are and their storage facility. I understand that. But this is right on the avenue, and it doesn't look good.
Okay, thank you very much. We did discuss it tonight. I know the superintendent and Mr. O'Byrne are looking at this issue very carefully, and we thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Well, thank you very much for listening.
Of course, absolutely. Who's next, Dr. Palmer?
It looks like we still have only two parents.
Okay,
So why don't we turn on Kira?
I think we want to turn on Kira's mom, actually.
Kira's mom, I'm sorry. Forgot about it. Mrs. Glover, right?
Cynthia.
Hi, how are you?
Hello.
Okay, so I guess how it was explained to me was that the board was going to be discussing the best practices for students that are coming in from quarantine into the remote learning classroom. And I just wanted to first of all say thank you so much for giving us Mrs. McCabe. She is absolutely wonderful. She is able to communicate with the children so well and get them to do their work and help them with their questions. And she has such a good routine with them in terms of organizing their learning and their mini groups. She puts them into breakout groups and they do learning that way. And I wanted to understand what was, I know that I think 4 children came in to the class, but what I'm hearing, because I'm also working from home, so I try to pop in just to listen from time to time. But, with the new children, they're not versed with, they're only there for a short time as far as I understand, and maybe I don't understand. So that's part of why I'm calling in tonight too. But they're going to be there for the short term while they're quarantining, but it kind of creates a disturbance in terms of the consistency that's already set up with the classroom and the children knowing their routine. And then these new children who don't know their routine are coming in, and obviously they have questions because they're not familiar with the Zoom technology, much less the scheduling, as the kids that are already in the class. So I wanted to understand, is this the permanent plan for the kids that have to quarantine? And, is there a better option so that these children who are in the Zoom class don't have so much interruption and that they can continue on with the way that they've been learning?
Yep, so this concern, actually, Dr. Palmer had spoken to us, letting us know what the concern was.
Okay.
I would ask that you stay tuned. I know that it's being worked on.
Okay.
And I know that Dr. Palmer or Dr. Karp or Dr. Docena will be communicating with all of you. We hear the concern and, we appreciate you bringing it forward.
Okay, and again, we want to thank you. We truly appreciate the teacher that you have given us and
Great.
the opportunity to be at home. So we thank you for that, and we want the other children to have a good opportunity too. It just,
Of course.
there might be a better way to do it.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay,
Okay,
who's next?
Mrs. Rogendorf, would you like to speak?
Dr. Palmer, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Someone is in the waiting room.
Yeah, Brendan's bringing them in.
Fantastic, thank you. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No problem. So thank you for the time. I wanted to echo a lot of what Kira's mom has said. It is amazing to me to see, how much my son has really grown in this program. And 100% has to do with Miss McCabe. The passion, the energy that she brings to the classroom is just astounding. And the reality is we really have a limited amount of time with her, and she comes in focused. She has to maximize what she needs to accomplish with the children, leave room for questions. She's also building a rapport. And we understand that there needs to be a solution for the in-person learners who happen to be in quarantine, but it is disruptive to the
We
flow
hear
of the
you.
class because she takes the time to onboard and what is the right thing to do. So, I wanted to come because, remote learning does become a family affair. There's grandparents involved, parents are involved, so we see what's happening. So we wanted to let everyone know what a wonderful job our teachers are doing, but I think we do need some additional support. And that's really why I'm here tonight, is just to ask for that.
Yeah, great. We appreciate you bringing that forward. Also, just stay tuned. It's being worked on. Okay, thank you very much. Yes.
And I think Mrs. Kapoor just came on. I know she had wanted to comment. I'm not sure if she still does. Brendan, could you turn on her mic and camera? And then we could ask. Okay, Mrs. Kapoor, did you want to make a comment?
Hi, yes, for some reason it kept saying that I would be let in, so I'm not sure. I heard Anita just talking, and I'm sure we're on the same page with seconding with the remote program. It's very difficult because the teachers and the students, they put so much effort in. I don't want to be redundant, but kind of setting up the infrastructure, having everyone help out. I took an unpaid leave for the year. We all really tried to create a real team of supports for the students, because it is very different for them. They're not seeing their friends and their classmates, and we tried to make it that the kids could be connected. And then we have students coming in and out. It's a constant disruption in the instructional time. They don't know how to access things. They don't understand how the program works. So it's very difficult for our children and even the students who are quarantined, because they're coming into a program where they don't really know how to navigate it. So we feel like it's just a negative experience for both sides. Our kids have limited instructional time. And then when kids are coming in and being introduced and going through all the procedures and processes, they're losing that limited instructional time. And then, like I said, you have the students who are quarantined who are kind of at a loss. They're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. So
Understood.
I think it would be, really helpful if we could figure something out for them.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing the concerns that you all have. The board has been made aware of this. We definitely hear you. The administration is working hard to figure it out. So just stay tuned, okay?
And I'll be talking about that on the new business.
Okay. All right. Reports of Belmore Merrick Central High School District Board members. I will turn it over to the Belmore Merrick Central High School District Board President, Gina Piskin. Gina, you're on mute.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So our last meeting was on a Zoom on December 2nd. And at that meeting, we talked about having a remote day, and our remote day will be tomorrow on December 9th. So that is happening. We are getting cases that none of the cases that we have gotten in any of the districts have started in the school. They've all started outside of the school. But when they happen, when kids are exposed, or if they do unfortunately get it, we send out the emails, and there's really great communication. My dog, of course, is barking now. Great communication with the parents. December 10th, Metham is having a parent info night. December 14th, Kennedy is having an ASR parent info night as well. The holiday recess is from December 24th to January 1st. And I don't know if the Connect Ed message went out today, but a message should be coming home to parents. I'm just going to go.
I'll
Thank you.
cover it, Gina.
Yeah,
So
thank
a message will be coming home. Really just asking people to, help your children be responsible in being a partner with us and trying to, stop the spread of COVID. As of last week, the Belmore Merrick Central High School District was one of, I believe, 6 districts that are still in person. We have been in person in one form or another, the entire time. And we are doing everything that we could possibly do to stay with in-person instruction. At this point, the high school district, as well as the elementary district, we've become expert in contact tracing. It's nice that we benefit with a very close relationship with the Nassau County Health Commissioner, who is a resident of Belmore Merrick. But we are trying to tell you, I think the dog was barking because the dog wanted to weigh in as well, that we will not be able to, continue to be in session if we don't all do what we can do to prevent the spread of COVID. And the cases that we're finding out about that are the most problematic are all being traced back to things that are happening outside of school. So please help us wherever you can. I think that covers it for us, Gina. Okay, new business. Dr. Palmer, I know that you had some new business, and if anybody else has new business, please feel free.
All right, so first, just so for those parents who with questions about the remote program, the program has been evolving. We probably have one of the best programs on Long Island in that we provide a full instructional day for our students in the remote program. We don't do even at elementary school age, people are doing the tune into the classroom and you're gonna pick things up. Good model for a secondary student, not really a good model for a 6-year-old. So we have provided a full remote program. It's been evolving over time. In the beginning days, we couldn't find our art teacher to do it. We got an art teacher for this full level of specials. We build in our related services, our AS services, et cetera. We had been using the program also as a place for our students who are quarantined to get their education while they couldn't go to school. The number of cases of quarantined students has, of course, been building as it is building everywhere. And a couple weeks back, the administrative team started looking at how we could do something different for those students. So the model we're going to try, and we're working on staffing it right now, right as we get into the new year, will be a model where students who are quarantined will they'll tune in with a grade specific group after school hours, because we'll have our teachers doing this. So there'll be a grade specific teacher for the whole district. So for instance, there'll be a 2nd grade teacher for the whole district who will tune in for an hour with the kids and do basically a tutorial system. The child's classroom teacher will continue to send homework to the student during the quarantine period, and they'll do a kind of a social emotional check-in twice a week with the students to make sure that they're doing okay and are on target. For students who get IEP mandated services or AIS services, we are going to, wherever we can possibly make the scheduling work, we'll have those students tune in remotely with their existing group or their existing provider to provide services during the day. So if a student's out for quarantine, they're going to get the services for their 10 days of quarantine that way, or the maximum of 10 days. For many kids, it's much less. Or alternatively, some parents have just opted to say, send home the work. My child's quarantine is shorter. I won't do all this other stuff, just send home the work and we'll carry out that way. So there's really those 2 alternatives. We're going to attempt to not have students go into the remote program during their quarantine. There will definitely be some exceptions to that because we have had students whose quarantine periods have been extensive because of multiple contacts or because they themselves become positive. So there will be an occasional student who does still go in a remote program if we think that they're going to be out for a longer period of time and need more continuous instruction, and that this smaller amount will not work for them. So that'll be going on well, but we're staffing that up. We're staffing that up right now. We're hoping that before we break, we'll know exactly which teachers are going to do it, and then any cases that go into quarantine after the break, we'll use that model for. So hopefully that'll make some relief for the students in the full remote program. That's one of the items I wanted to talk about. Another item is as this pandemic continues, is notifications. So to date, if a student or a staff member had a positive test while they were already in quarantine and there was no possibility of them being exposed to anybody in school because their infectious window, they were already home, we did not do any notifications about those to the school. We're going to start to follow the model that the high school district uses, where there'll be a general building notification that either a student or a staff member tested positive while they were in quarantine, there are no close contacts in our school, etc. So we'll be providing those notices going forward. That'll, if we happen to have a case the rest of this week, it'll go into effect or next week as cases come up, and hopefully we just won't have many of those. The other thing, while we're in the discussion of the pandemic, I wanted to talk about is microclusters. So there's been a great deal of information in the media. It's been the talk of school districts every year, the concept of microclusters, which the governor's office and the Department of Health introduced. Those are areas where there's heightened number of cases of COVID-19 positivity, along with a bunch of other factors. And an area could become a yellow zone, orange zone, or a red zone, yellow having the least percentage, red having the most percentage. And there are testing requirements for schools to conduct of in-person participants in order to stay open. I won't even go into the rules because literally every 2 weeks, the state has changed the rules. So telling you what the rules are now are meaningless because they'll probably be changed within 2 weeks. Just about 2 days ago, the red and orange zone rules changed. They are available on the New York State Department of Health website if somebody's curious and want to read them. What I want to let everybody know right now is we're contracting with a national healthcare firm that would be able to come on site and do on-site testing for COVID-19 for volunteers. I want to emphasize volunteers, because we need to test in the yellow zone, which is the most likely place that we would start out, is we would need to test 20% of the number of people who are in person in the schools. And we would take volunteers with, it'll be staff, I'm certainly sure. And if it's students, it'll be with parental consent to be tested. The company will come on site. They bring medical professionals who've now been doing this regularly. They have a process that they've been doing since the spring, and they will do the testing using one of the lesser invasive ways of swabbing. So they only do like the kind of the end of the nose. It's not way up there. And they will have this process going down. And we had a discussion with them. What we would be requesting is, if we unfortunately get into the situation, is that parents who are consenting to a child's testing come with the child to the testing. We want, it's our feeling that we want the parent right there when their child's tested to soothe their child. And if, that occasional child who might have a really bad reaction, instead of sending them into class, the parent might want to take them home. So we would be asking parents to be on site during it. And, you know, of course, I'll be here to hold the hand of the staff members who might have their adverse reaction and start crying. And if I have to drive them home, we will. But it's really good to know that we've gotten this model squared away. We do have another backup that could take a limited number of cases if need be. And we're going to continue to work on another backup where we would have an alternate in case the amount of testing in Nassau County just goes through the roof and ATC really does not have, would be overwhelmed. So we're looking for alternatives just to have some redundancy. I just wanted to let the board and the community know about that. And beyond that, I just want to wish everybody happy holiday season, a happy new year, because the next time we'll be together as a community will be in 2021. Oh, one other thing for the board and for the community. We conducted the second round of interviews for our assistant superintendent, replacement for the business official. Sid Freifelder has been gracious enough to become our interim. It'll hang in there as long as we need her. But we do want to try to transition to a new person. And for the community, on December 14th, the board is having a special meeting. It'll be an executive session meeting where they'll interview the finalists and with any luck, come out of executive session into public session for the 5 minutes to appoint the chosen person so we can get this process moving. We went to a nice candidate pool and we have some good candidates that we'd like to bring forward.
What time is that on Monday?
The board will convene at 5 o'clock. We'll start the first interview around 5:30. So that'll give us time to prepare questions.
That's in person, correct?
Assuming everything holds, that'll be in person. We'll use a big room so we can all spread out, maintain our social distance, and also keep the candidates safe, social distancing, so that they also can kind of interview without a mask, because that would be problematic.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you,
Thank you.
Dr. Palmer. Thank you. That brings us to old business. Anybody have any old business? All right, so just before we adjourn, I just want to take a moment to also wish the community a wonderful holiday season. This has been a rough year, but as you know, I always say and really believe, and I know it speaks for the board, we have a great community and we stay together and we're doing the best that we can. In that spirit, I really do just want to take a moment to thank our administration, our teachers, and our entire staff. This year in education is like no other year. And you never really know, how people are going to react when you're put in a position that you've never dealt with before. And I know we couldn't be any more proud of how, we've been led by our administrators, how our teachers are teaching, how our staff is supporting, and how our families and children just rise to the occasion every day. So we're really blessed in this community, and hopefully with that, we can look forward to, a better 2021. But no matter what, we'll be together. So wishing everybody a very, very happy holidays. So with that, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.